are back in... Wait. What did you tell me not to do last time? You said don't do welcome?
We're back.
Okay. I was thinking that I wasn't going to do that. Okay. So we are back for another amazing episode, exciting, tantalizing episode of The Spicy Life. I'm your host, Spicy Mari, and joined with me is the lovely co-host, Dr. Ali.
Yes, always hyperactive.
Yes. And we also have a special guest today, Maria Costa. And Maria is a comedian. She's an actress, a writer, and a comedy concert tour and special going on. Macho Men and the Women Who Love Them is streaming right now on Amazon Prime.
Yes, it is.
And Viva America. And this is like Maria's unique ability to morph into multiple characters, split personality kind of thing.
Always. That's how I survive.
Yeah,
That's how I keep my husband excited too.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Keep him on his toes, you know?
There you go. You never know who you're going to get.
She's like channeling Tracy Ullman or something. Like, it's amazing. Like,
oh, thank you.
Absolutely amazing.
Brilliant.
Yes.
She's extremely
Appreciate
talented.
that.
You also have a comedy concert coming up, Shades of Macho.
Yes, that's my new comedy concert. I'm
Okay.
really excited about that.
So this is something, are you going to be doing multiple characters for this one as well?
Yes.
Always transitioning.
Definitely. I talk as myself, like as an independent woman who's in love with my man, who's a macho man. But I also talk about my attraction to alpha males and the different shades of alpha males. Because I think women from many different backgrounds can appreciate an alpha male because, they come in all different cultures.
Absolutely.
All right? We just call them different names, right? Like Latinas, we call them papi chulo or machos.
That's my papi right there.
Right? Hey, papi. And then Jewish people call them rabbis, and white people call them CEOs or cowboys, right? Shades of machos, and that's what I talk about in my new shows. Yeah, and I don't leave out the brothers too, because a little roughneck, we like that. Right?
I just realized my badge was on. All right. But we're super excited to have you. Today's episode, we immediately thought of you when we knew what we wanted to talk about, and that was female empowerment, the non-traditional woman, all right? You being this multifaceted, multi-character comedian, you're in an industry that is extremely male-dominated.
Talk about
It is.
How the heck do you handle that?
Well, I do my own thing. I really just try to focus on creating content, putting it out there, and, writing content that a lot of women will relate to.
Yeah.
So, that's really how I handle it. I'm not really like in the trenches in the comedy clubs. I'm not like a traditional comedian. I'm more like John Leguizamo, what he
Non-traditional.
does.
See?
Yeah, non-traditional. yeah, or Lily Tomlin. Yeah, so I just focus on creating content, really. That's what I do. Yeah.
Well, we always start off with the spicy life, going into the spicy dish, right? And it's a little game that we're going to play with you today. And it's similar to, news and gossip, but you're going to play a little true and false game with this, okay?
Okay.
And it's about the news, all right? It's everything going on in the news. You're going to let us know whether this is true or false. All right. And since we're on the topic of female empowerment, someone who is always in the headlines, I don't know if I would call it female empowerment. I don't know how I would describe Kim Kardashian's
I can't
exposure.
Right, she's beautiful, but
She recently just posted this nude photo. Everybody's going crazy over it. Well, once again, it's another nude photo.
Another one? Wait. Wasn't there one back
Right.
when? Yeah.
What have we not seen already? That's what I want to know. Are we going to get an ultrasound of her vagina? What's next?
That's the only thing that we're missing.
Great.
I feel like, are you sure that's not out?
It might be out.
Right.
What's next?
That's old news.
So she also is making headlines too, not just with this nude photo, but like also the so-called Bo Derek braids that she has. So, true or false, Maria? Did the hair, like the braids, the hairstyle that Kim K was wearing, did it originally start with Bo Derek? True or false?
With Bo Derek, I think it started with the sisters. Right?
Okay, you passed that one. You passed the first one.
It started in the motherland of Africa.
Okay.
Like,
So that
I
would
don't
be
think Bo
that would
Derek
be a false,
predates
Kim.
all of Africa.
Kim, if you're listening, that would be a false. What you said was not true. Those were not Bo Derek braids.
Hello.
Okay. So, but it's controversial though. It's always something going on with like Kim, and you had sent me a message as soon as it happened. You're like, this culture vulture, and I was like, you're absolutely right. Is it the thirst for attention, or is it her trying to promote her husband's new clothing line coming out, or is it problems on the home front and her not getting enough attention from her husband, and so she's acting out?
I'm telling you, I think very few things from that camp are not contrived. I think that everything they do is well thought out, and they're thinking about down the line, how much attention can they get, and what is the marketing angle. And, you know, like even the whole thing where she had a Paris Hilton or whatever, Paris Hilton decided to dress up like Kim Kardashian for those shoots. Like, it's all planned out. They need more attention. Kanye probably got a new line dropping in a few weeks.
That's what I'm thinking.
And we're all going to be like, oh, wait, there's some new $5,000 sweatpants out? Oh, my God, I got to rock those holy $10 million sweatpants.
Sure, yeah, it's all marketing. Yes.
So it's contrived. Okay, so then why the naked body then? Because there's this whole, you know, and I hate to lump her in the same category with Amber Rose, where they're always trying to claim that it's this like, you know, celebration of femininity and taking, you know, your power back, and, you know, women can be just as sexual as men. But there is that claim that, you know, we should be able to post these nude photos and not be criticized or judged for celebrating our body.
I think there's a fine line. I mean, you know, you're able to be sexy, but you don't have to take all your clothes off to do that. I think it's about balance, you know.
But why do we think that? Why do we think that sexy is the more skin that you show?
Right. Well, because they keep marketing it to us, you know, and people like Kim Kardashian put it out there.
Yeah, it's just, it reminds you of sex. When you're naked, you know, when you're having sex, you're normally naked. I don't know. People are freaks. Some people do it with their shoes on, whatever. Like, mostly when you're having
my
sex,
husband
you're naked.
your socks, take your socks off.
I love it. But it's like, you know, so I think that it's just really trying to add a sexual piece to it. And I'm all about women empowerment. And they say, you know, if men can do it, I can do it. When was the last time you saw an ad with a naked dude?
I never
dick out. Like, I've never seen that. So
that's not sexy.
So I feel like I would rather them just say what this is.
Showtime and HBO sometimes we'll get to see a dick every now and then, but that's only on
rare,
like those, you know, networks. It's not. We don't see them any other network except for like Playboy.
Because if anything, when I think about strategy and in the long term, I actually think when you go and you show everything, you've kind of lost some of your power. You haven't really regained it and maintained it. You kind of lost a little piece of your power because now everyone's seen everything. There's nothing else that I can see. Like, I've seen your nipples. I've seen your entire vagina. I've seen you having sex with that guy. I've seen, like,
weren't you drawing vaginas earlier today?
I was drawing vaginas earlier.
Okay.
I was.
So,
doodling
Dr.
vaginas.
Allie
better to draw them than to show them. Yeah, I know.
was drawing beautiful vaginas. I think there was like 8 of them. I chose which one I think mine looked closest to, but she's gonna have to show you this photo.
Okay,
later.
we can do that.
That's empowerment right
You're
there.
an artist too. That's awesome.
Yeah. Get ready.
when you're doodling and you have time to draw a vagina every now and then, and a little clit with it too.
It's for a
nice
project,
time.
y'all. I'm actually doing something with these vaginas that I will tell you about later.
Okay. I love
Okay,
it.
Pastor John Gray. This, to me, was extremely interesting and controversial. A pastor had a message out saying that, you know, if you want to be a wife, you have to act and walk in the path of a wife. You can't walk in the path of a girlfriend. Sierra had, you know, posted this. What was her hashtag to it? Oh, level up.
Yeah.
People went livid.
People went in.
Because she's married now, you know, to a, you know, famous football player. But before, she was in these streets messing with Future.
She was in the streets.
Yeah, with him and his, you know, 15 baby mamas. But I do like Future though. So, so it was just like, you know, it was another woman pretty much making other women feel as if them being single or, you know, them not being in a relationship is like their fault. That's the reason that they're not married, is because they haven't, you know, leveled up yet. They haven't
They're
gotten
walking
to
in the
this
spirit
place.
of a girlfriend and not in the spirit of a wife. Yeah.
Well,
But, and I know everybody was upset about this, and I understand the several points about, you know, that we shouldn't be judged based on our relationship status, and we should not. But what the pastor's point, from what I saw, was that there's a certain behavior for someone who is ready for a commitment. There's a certain behavior for someone who is ready to be selfless and sacrifice their life to another individual. There's a certain level of, you know, commitment that it takes to just you as a person as well to not, you know, fall into temptation and do every, you know, thing that you want. When you're a girlfriend, you're not obligated to walk that same exact path. So I understood what the pastor was saying, and I think that there is some truth to that. But I think that them unleashing their wrath and going in on Sierra for agreeing with that, that's not fair.
Okay.
What do you think, Maria?
I mean, I do agree with the pastor in some ways. I mean, it's how you carry yourself in life, like especially as a woman. I think we need to start being responsible for communicating what our needs are from the men. That if you're dating a man or if you're about to be married to him or want to be married to him, even after you've married him, you have to tell him these are what my needs are. What do I want? Do I want respect? I need you to respect me. Do I want love? Do I want you to be a caring man? Do I need you to handle me with care? And then if you still continue down the path with him once he's shown you that he's not going to give that, or if he's going to level up to you and you still slept with him, or you're still, with him and he's still disrespecting you, then that's on you. Then you played yourself.
It's a choice. It's a choice that you make to stay. It's a choice that you make to go.
Yes, exactly. And how are you going to be in that relationship? How are you going to carry yourself? I think it matters. Yeah.
What I don't think that, though, is that we should be judged or deemed unworthy of love just because we are not in a relationship.
Oh,
and I think that's the unfortunate part, is because some of our self-esteem does derive from our relationship status and being able to change it to in a relationship on Facebook and, being able to have companionship. It's unfortunate, but it is true.
Yeah.
And so, Dr. Ali, do you agree with this statement that the pastor was saying?
When would I ever?
Because we know your stance on religion.
Ever agree with this statement? Of course, I did not agree with this statement. Not one bit of it. Well, I think my biggest frustration is with the vagueness. So, what in the heck does walk like in the spirit of a wife mean? My issue is it's so vague that it allows anybody to have, nobody has any idea. Nobody came out with any answers.
There's not a rule book.
Right? And so I feel like if you're going to present somebody with a problem and you're going to tell someone you're walking like a girlfriend, you're not walking like a wife, help me understand what walking like a wife is.
Give more details.
So number one, you can't really do that because every woman is going to walk in her own path. Right? My path is not your path, is not your path. And so we're not walking in the same wifely path. But we're all in relationships that are mutually beneficial and beautiful and amazing. But we all walk different paths. And so the idea that we all have to walk in the same exact way in order to get married, to me, is ludicrous.
So do you think that he was saying that it's the exact same path? Or that it's just believing that, so kind of like The Secret. If you believe that you're a wife worthy of, or that you will find love, then that's what you will draw and attract to yourself.
He didn't tell us, so we have no idea what he meant.
Okay, so I agree with you on that. He didn't tell me.
He didn't tell me. So
but you do gotta give like a little playbook.
Give me a playbook.
Right.
If you're gonna say it, give me a playbook.
Give us something behind
And number
it.
two, the reason he didn't have a playbook is because he was stepping outside of his game. He is a pastor, not a relationship expert.
There you go.
Shut your mouth and talk to me about my spirituality. Talk to me about the Bible. Talk to me about Hebrews and Chronicles and Corinthians. Please don't talk about my relationship.
Well,
Sit down.
I'm not. Okay, so in his defense,
Talk about it.
When it comes to your relationship and when it comes to dating, the first place a lot of us go, and the first thing that we do when we are hurt, when we are down, when we are in a broken relationship trying to pick ourselves up, when we go through a breakup, the first place we go is to church, and the first thing we do is pray. Lord, please give me the signs.
Of people are
please
divorced.
give me the signs if he's a dog. Please give me the signs if I should go or if I shouldn't.
That's why 70%
and then the signs come, and we still stay. Like, I don't want that sign. Give me a different sign.
You didn't need to go to
And
church.
that's why 70% of people are divorced, because they're relying on something that isn't concrete. And yes, God can do a lot of things for you. Prayer can do a lot of things for you. But you also have to, at some point in your life, sit up and be like, what do I see? Like, what is it? Because a sign is great,
Absolutely.
but a sign can be whatever you want it to be.
You need to be self-aware and then also aware of your relationship, because you can be blinded by just wanting to be in a relationship, like so bad that you don't see the signs that he's giving you, not even God.
Or you can interpret those signs as something else.
Right.
You can sit there and be like, oh, he's super jealous and he beat that guy up because he loves me. As opposed to the rest of us like, no, he's doing it because he's totally insane.
Yeah.
You need to get out of there.
But
you have to judge people on their actions. You know, a man will show you how he feels about you by how the actions that he takes in the relationship. And if you ignore that and you still choose to move forward, then that's on you, you know?
Absolutely. I agree with that. It's easier said than done, because how many of us have been like,
right, just so hooked on it, right?
Yeah, I would say for me, like, my prayers were always like, I would get to a point where God had to literally destroy the relationship and make it such an uncomfortable, horrible place. I couldn't even pretend like it wasn't a horrible relationship.
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean he stole my car? Well, that's just him. He just does that sometimes. We're gonna find it. Like, literally, like, it'll get to that point.
Right.
But for those of you who are like maybe just tuning in right now, we are still talking about female empowerment, and so there's been a little controversy too with what's going on with what recently just happened with the Grammys. Not a lot of women won, and there was females up, but the only one that really, I mean, in the hip hop and R&B urban music world, only Elisa Cara was the only female that really stood out, that won, that got shine. Yes, there was some on stage that performed, but is it is it something where it's because we're not behind their voting? Is it because we're just not as talented? Because I know that's not what it is.
Well, that's what the head of the Grammy guy said. Like. But that's what the guy said. Yes. I don't know what his name was. He literally said basically women level up. Have better music and you will win awards.
If we hear level up one more time.
He said that. I know you guys got me saying this level of nonsense. Right. But literally, I don't remember who it was, so I feel like I shouldn't be talking about it. But
I know what you're talking about too, but I can't remember his name. Yeah. Dang it. Maybe he's not memorable. Then maybe he should level up.
He needs to level up.
Get in the headlines or whatever.
But, I mean, of course, it's not that they're talented. Rihanna is amazing, and some of the women who, should have gotten awards didn't get awards.
Yes, yeah. and favorite scene of the night was, of course, Blue Ivy, telling her parents, pipe down, calm down, calm down.
How much we love Blue Ivy, and I love that picture of Beyonce holding that juice. And those
oh my gosh, she was so annoying.
Was that real?
I think that was a real photo. I don't know. Did she really have those snacks? Actually, I thought that was real.
Because Blue was in the picture next to her, going in on the gummy snacks. So I was like, Beyonce's a real mom. I love it.
I think that might actually be real.
Beyonce deserved an award just for that.
No. They're royalty. They're just like music royalty.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. For sure. I mean, and that's, when people talk about female empowerment, we instantly think of, Formation, Beyonce. That's always our go-to. But there's a lot of other women that are all about, female empowerment, and they're representing well for us as well. One of my book recommendations, if you guys haven't had a chance to, is Lean In. Amazing book by Sheryl Sandberg, and this is a spicy suggestion when it comes to what can you be doing more to not just empower your professional career, but to feel confident about the choices that you're making, how to negotiate, how to work in a place with men, and where rights aren't always equal based on not just your gender but the color of your skin, but your work experience. You're not measured based on these real qualities, but how do you still excel? How do you succeed? And so that's one of my by far absolute favorite books, Lean In. So spicy suggestion right there. Spicy tip. But I want to ask you, can women wear the pants in a dating relationship?
It depends what kind of man they're with. I talk about some of that in my show, actually, because I talk about alpha women, strong women that are out there taking on our careers. But at the same time, if you're with an alpha male, I mean, then you're going to have nothing but conflict. I think at some point we need to sit back and let them take the lead. That's what kind of woman I am. But at the same time, I'm a strong woman. I go out and I go after and I do things in my career, but we find balance. Yeah. In the beginning, we used to fight all the time. Yeah. I mean, it just depends. I think if you're with a really strong male, like an alpha male, some men are not okay with women asserting ourselves, too much. To be like, she's a lesbian. A lesbian stole my girlfriend. She wouldn't let me watch. So, but you can wear the pants, but I think there's just a way that you finesse it in a relationship. It's how you talk to your man. It's all tone. Like my grandmother taught me, you can get more with honey than you do with salt.
Talk about it.
I heard you could get more with honey than you can with vinegar.
Oh, there you go. That's another one. Yeah. That's another one. Yeah, I think it's all in the approach. especially as strong women, it's like we want to assert ourselves like we do in our careers. But when you're with a strong man, there's just a way that you talk to them. I can get a lot more done with my husband when I'm like, Papi, I'm really tired. Can you help me cook tonight?
You have to submit a little.
Just a little bit. Yeah, that's the way it goes, though. And then he'll be like, it's okay, Mama, sit down. I'll cook dinner tonight. But in the beginning, I was like, no, I got my career. You can't make me do anything. I don't have time to be cooking and cleaning all the time. And so we used to fight all the time. But then once we found that balance, now we do a lot better.
And it can be challenging, too, because one issue that comes up often is, these strong women who also want a strong man. When it's an alpha woman who wants an alpha man and she doesn't want a beta, I do think that there's a certain finesse that you have to have, and it takes a certain type of alpha man that can be with another alpha woman. Like, she has to be strong and know when not to speak. I think that's the hardest thing, is like when to back down, when to stand down.
Even hearing that made me itchy.
Yeah,
right.
That made me actually uncomfortable.
But
I don't like it.
It's the truth, though. It's like your words can be as sharp as a snake. As sharp as a knife. Like, you can cut someone with your words. And so knowing how to properly use them or knowing when it's going to take you over the edge. But it's the same thing with the man, too. Like, if you're an alpha man and you are, a leader, you're strong, and you want an alpha woman as well, you have to understand, too, that sometimes she can carry the load. Sometimes she can lead. Sometimes she can guide the relationship. It doesn't always have to be an alpha woman submitting in order to be with an alpha man. He has to learn how to submit as well if he wants an alpha woman. Or either one needs to be with the beta.
And I think a strong man will do that, like an alpha man. As long as if you approach him in a sweet way, with love, with nurturing, you can a man will do the world for you. They will move mountains for you if you treat them well and you have them feel like they're the masculine one in the relationship.
Is it hard?
I know it's not.
For him to be with a comedian?
He likes what I do, I give him a new woman every day. I always got different characters, that I'm doing with him. Yeah.
But just like the career, the lifestyle, like, in order to be funny, you have to say the truth. The funniest things are always like the truth, the things that we can relate to. And sometimes it's not clean and pretty and the traditional, wife that is, nurturing and soft. Sometimes it's like that raw, uncut, nitty gritty. How does he handle that when you're telling these jokes? And sometimes not even about him, about other men.
Yeah, women come up to him sometimes after the show, like macho men and women who love them, and they're like, "You're the macho, that's how you are." And I'm like, no, I'm not talking specifically about him as a man. I'm talking about just macho men in general. So, one character that I portray, he talks about the man rules. He's like, rule number 1, men don't cry, men make other men cry. Rule number 2, a man has only 2 emotions, mad and very mad. So they come up to him and they're like, how can you think these things? It's so archaic.
Oh, they blame him.
And I'm like, no, it's an exaggeration of the truth.
Right.
And it's not really how we operate in our relationship. So, so then he'll tell him, no, I'm not like that at home. Really, I'm not. So, but he loves what I do. He supports what I do. And he knows that I have a voice that I want to get out there. Because at the end, the message really is balance. I talk about that. Talk about, even as women, we have to wear those 2 hats. And it's not easy for us. It's like on one side, we have to be wild and sexual and spontaneous.
Yes.
And the other, cook and clean and be traditional. It's not easy being a virgin and a puta at the same time.
There we go.
It's tough for us alpha women to balance that and find that within us. Yeah.
Because sometimes, we want to let our hair down, be wild. Okay, well, Dr. Ali and I had been wild back in, last week. No.
Hey,
Wild is
good.
But when it comes to yours and his relationship, would you say that it's difficult for him to support your career because you have to be center stage all the time? Because sometimes it can be hard to be even with somebody in the entertainment industry, period, but let alone being a woman in the entertainment industry. How does he handle that?
I think I'm very blessed in the sense that he really loves what I do. I mean, he goes on tour with me. We take our dog. She's a big Rottweiler. She's awesome. We've really made it a family business, kind of like Lucy and Ricky, and that was intentional. When we started, he manages me. So, we work together in a lot of ways. Everywhere I go, he goes. I win, he wins. We're a team. It's like, it's a business. It really is.
What advice do you have for women who are trying to get their man behind their pursuit, behind their career, that don't necessarily feel like, oh, I need to wear the pants in the relationship, but I need my career to come as a priority right now, or it's just not gonna, it may not happen, so career is the priority. How does a man get behind that when the woman is the driven one in the relationship? What tips do you have for that? Give us a spicy tip.
Well, first, right. Well, first, when you first get with him and in those first months of the relationship, you've got to have those conversations. What are his goals? You want to let him know where you're at, so it's not such a surprise to him. And then again, it's in the delivery, how you're treating him, so that he knows. Oh, so it's not going to be all about your career. So I'll wear my career hat when I go out in the world. But when I'm home, I don't mind serving you dinner, being sweet to you. My friends come over and I serve his food while he's watching a soccer game. And my friend was like, girl, you better not ever do that in front of my husband. He's going to expect that from me all the time. But that's how I balance out my relationship. I make it work. But I was raised by a really traditional Hungarian grandmother. So she taught me those kinds of values and, ways of operating in a relationship. So it's all about that balance. It's all about how you're with him at home, how you speak to him so that he feels his masculinity and empower that masculinity, and not always feel that we need to be like, it's my way or the highway, but it's a fine line,
It's extremely hard when you are, like you said, trying to do both. You're trying to be the sex kitten and career woman, take care of the home as well. Dr. Ellie, in your professional opinion, when it comes to the non-traditional woman, maybe she doesn't have time to cook and clean, and maybe she has to hire a maid and hire takeout or Uber Eats or whatever. Do you see that problem often when it comes to relationships, with her not doing the traditional role and him not feeling as if he's loved because she's not playing the traditional role? I mean, because what's the traditional role now?
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do it all. It's too much now.
Yeah, I think every relationship is a little different. And what I hear more of is just about imbalances and expectations. If your husband is expecting someone who's, going to cook and clean every day and be attentive to his needs in that way, and you're not doing that, then it's going to be difficult. If he's expecting someone who's going to make money and, bring home the bacon, and you're not doing that, then it's going to be a problem. So I really feel like it's all about expectations. And like what you were saying earlier, which is all about in those first few months, what are you expecting out of this relationship? Do you expect me to be, get pregnant and stay home with the kids? Some people are like, yes, sign me up. Some people are like, sign me up.
His family's looking at us like, where's the kids? All his brothers and sisters have 5 kids.
Exactly. Some people are like, sign me up, and some people are like, it's not a part of my concept. It's not a part of my life right now, And so it's just about, is he on your team with the things and the goals that you have? Because like me and my husband's relationship, very non-typical. We are definitely, I would say 50-50 partners in a lot of senses. He cooks almost just as much as I do.
Yeah, my husband's the cooker.
Yeah, I try to cook. I'm trying to get better.
I cooked the other night though.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I used spicy mama hot sauce. Get your bottle today.
I'm trying, but it's but if he expected me to cook every day, for me, I think that would make me a little anxious. It would probably make me more uncomfortable in the relationship, and I would come home and I might be a little bit more stressed out. Oh my God, I gotta get these lentils going, and I can't relax, As opposed to sometimes he'll just put some toast in them. He's such a sweetheart.
Aww.
He'll just put toast in there and just put butter on his toast, and that's what he'll eat.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, it goes like that sometimes.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to do better.
My six husband eat 10 pieces of toast a day.
Oh. Dang it. Okay, you're trying to build your empire.
Man, we're trying.
What suggestions do you ladies have for us to help each other build our empires? Because the more that I grow my company, grow my products, start branching out with my brand, everything, we have our hands in so many pots. You have to nowadays. You have to, social media is a business. You have to have a product that you can sell. You have to be on stage, and then do all these little side gigs at the same time. What can we be doing with each other to be making, the climb easier? Because I feel like we're a generation that's figuring out this new, these new platforms ourselves. My mom can't talk to me about how to juggle social media and put my posts at the same time with, promoting an ad on Facebook. Like, it just, those aren't conversations that our parents had with us. All they had to, worry about was like their 9 to 5 and, making sure that the food was hot.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's something, isn't it? There's so many different hats that we have to wear as creative entrepreneurs, as women out there building our brand. And you have to understand the different ways that we can market ourselves. Yeah, social media, we got to keep up with it. Even for us, like, we know that my material is cross-generational, right? So I'm reaching like the young people on social media and then in media and everything. And then with the older generation, we have to go to the festivals, to the salsa clubs, print out flyers so that they have something right in their hand,
copy.
Right there.
Yeah.
So maybe like using some of the tools that we have for cross promotion, even, or just like if you see a fellow female that is interested in looking to do something, plugging her. I think a lot of times us women are so afraid that we're going to not make it, or that we're going to be held back, or that we're not going to be able to feed ourselves, that we're so afraid to plug the next woman or to give the next opportunity to a woman. I fell in love with Dr. Ali when she plugged me with an opportunity. When, you were a sweetheart when I first met you, and, super vibrant and funny. And I was like, oh, she's my cup of tea. We could be crazy together. But when you hit me with the, hey, so, I let this person know about your company, The Spicy Life, and that you have a relationship firm, and, what you're doing with even the astrology, and you made an opportunity that you could have tried to keep that from me or keep that for yourself, but you passed it along. And then when one came available for me, I passed it back. So it's like this ping pong kind of thing with like, I got you, girl. I got you, girl. Why can't we do more of that, though?
And that's what needs to happen. I think that's what needs to happen right now. And hopefully in the wake of all this Me Too and Time's Up, like, we'll realize that all we have is each other.
Yes.
And that if we're not backing each other up, if we're not telling each other, like, yo, that guy, he ain't the one. Like, get out of his office. Like, come with me. I got you. We need to be supporting each other more. And, like, maybe, like me and some other girls are trying to put together like a group of us so we can like sit down and talk about branding and talk about like if someone's like a marketer or a publicist, like, give me some advice. What do I do? Like, because I'm not a publicist. Like, I don't know how to write this one sheet so I can send it in, And so I think it's just about us coming together in whatever format we're going to do that, whether it be over drinks, over coffee, popcorn, and reality TV, whatever. We need to be coming together and like spreading ideas. Like, I don't know how to make a platform for a television show. Like, I mean, my God, like, you've done that. You know what you're doing. And so what
how
if
do we
one
get
day,
on Amazon, girl?
How do we get on Amazon? Like, how do we?
Yeah.
I need a class.
Let us know.
I'm so all about that. Like, even a friend of mine asked me the other day, oh, I'm trying to get to this person at this network, and we just sold a show over there. It was Mundos, actually. And then I gave them the contact information, and somebody I was working with was like, why did you do that? You don't just give away contacts like that. You don't just give away, your resources. I'm like, well, it all comes back around.
Yes, karma.
You help someone, and then you never know what's going to happen.
Forward.
Yeah, it's all about that. I mean, that's how I sell out my shows usually. Like, there are women organizations that really support what we do. We go and do announcements. We share with them the content. They show like the trailer. If it wasn't for the women that have helped and backed us in the Latino and African American organizations,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be selling out the shows. So it is about that. It's about that support.
Even in the corporate world, studies show the majority of women that are in management positions were hired by female managers. So even moving up, the ranks and just, trying to get to a place where you're, you hit, you got through the glass ceiling, like you made it. It majority of the time takes another woman like believing in you, because oftentimes, and Cheryl talks about this in her book Lean In, oftentimes you are going up against a man with preconceived notions about what you're incapable of already, and it's unfortunate. But it's true. And, not only are they concerned about your leave of absence, if you're young and you're going to get married and
pregnancy,
have kids. Yeah, it's like, and sometimes they don't even know that they're being prejudiced to you based on your gender. And it's really sad.
I think a part of it is also you want to see yourself in a mentee. Right?
Yes.
And so if you're a woman, you're more likely to see yourself in a younger woman. But when you're an older male, you might not see yourself in a younger Latina female. Like, that might not be who you see as the young you.
Right.
And so I think a lot of mentors are looking for that. And so we end up kind of getting left out because there aren't a lot of people in power that look like us.
Shades of macho.
Yeah.
See?
Right.
That's another shade of macho right
another
there.
shade.
There, yes.
You don't see. He
And
don't
it
see
sucks.
you.
Yeah, it sucks when it comes down
That's
to it. But I
vanity
think it's
too,
kind of what it
though.
is. Yeah, you want to look in the mirror and see yourself.
Oh, so that's why we like our kids, huh?
That's why we love
That's how you guys put up with the little brats. Because I'm
they're
like,
here.
how do you do it?
That's right. And then
'Cause they
and
look
then
like
there are
you.
those women who won't open doors, who like, and you could pick up on it. It's like, wow, you're purposefully stopping this flow. You can make this happen. You can open that door, but you're purposefully not because whatever's going on. And that's really sad when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can work hard and, you know, as much as you want, but if you don't build the relationships to be able to open some of those doors, because more of you making it is about your, who do you know in the relationships that you have, than it is your qualifications. Because there's a lot of people who are qualified that still haven't reached success. Tiffany Haddish,
Oh yeah, I love her.
she's a fellow comedian, just like you. But have you listened to, well, I said listen to her audiobook because that's what I did. Have you read her book? Who has time to read anymore? No, but she just released a book, The Last Black Unicorn, and Dr. Allie and I have been like swooning over this
Obsessing over it.
hilarious book. I'm going to need you to write your book next.
I'll get on
Okay.
that. Yeah.
But honestly,
Thank you.
I like that I listened to the audiobook
Me
because
too.
she read the audiobook.
She's a comedian.
And she was hilarious.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was funnier than if I had read it because I also have the book too. But I preferred listening to it. She was amazing.
That's
I'm going to
awesome.
listen to it again.
But she speaks a lot to not having direction, like just knowing I want to be a comedian, you know, getting lost throughout her career with chasing after men and unfortunately getting, you know, stomped on. Her heart was like
happen,
was
yeah.
crushed in a million pieces.
she did get
multiple
physically
times.
stomped on at some point though.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
she did get
dang.
physically
Wow.
stomped.
Not by
But
a guy,
I
but
remember. I forgot about that part. So a lot has happened to Tiffany in the book,
God
but it was
bless her.
impressive though because she did throughout the book make sure that she acknowledged people who helped her along the way when she was broke. You know, when she didn't have anything, when she needed direction and guidance. You know, she brings up, you know, Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah a lot.
Okay.
You know, she's bringing up Arsenio Hall. Who else was a pivotal person in her life? The little short one, Kevin Hart.
Kevin, the little short one. I just couldn't stop thinking about Roscoe. Once you listen to the, once you read the book, you'll remember.
Oh
Roscoe.
my gosh, Roscoe! Dang, where is
To read this
Roscoe?
book.
Roscoe. We gotta find Roscoe.
Okay,
Hashtag where's
I have to
Roscoe?
tell you guys, in the book, Tiffany winds up hooking up with a, he's mentally disabled,
Yeah, handicap guy.
and he has like a little pterodactyl arm.
Hashtag where's Roscoe?
One good arm, one bad arm. But she winds up like, yeah, she winds up letting him like hit it. It's the best sex she ever
He
had.
laid it on her?
He put it on her. But
Read the
then she
book.
was embarrassed to
my
be with
God.
him.
This sounds hilarious.
And then she couldn't find him. He
Wow.
like disappears. So, you know, where's Roscoe is the new hashtag. I feel
Yeah.
like.
That is hilarious. Oh my
Yeah.
You
God.
gotta read this book. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's
will.
extremely impressive though. But what I appreciated was her not doing the non-traditional approach to making it, you know, and reaching out to her resources and allowing people to help her when she needed help. She wasn't afraid to let people know, I don't have it. I'm living out of my car. I'm stuck. I can't buy it. And that provided an opportunity in her honesty and her not trying to put up a facade for other people, other women and men too, to step in and say, I got you. Here you go. And sometimes that's what it takes to get to the next step and get to the next step. And we got to do more of that for each other.
That's it.
For sure.
And we have to be a soft place for each other to land because if I come and I'm vulnerable to somebody and they're just like, sounds bad. See you next week. You know, it's like, it hurts like, oh my God. So now I'm in a bad situation and now I've been rejected and no one's going to help me. Like, we have to be a soft place for each other to land.
Sensitive to each other.
Yeah, and we have to be sensitive. And if we can't be the solution, like, look through your phone and see who could be the solution. Like, how can I solve your problem? Like, we're sisters. Like, we are sisters now, you know?
Yeah.
And so how do we solve each other's problems? Because we're family, you know? And I think that there's not enough of us that are doing that.
Right. A soft place to land certainly is something that more people should practice because we're in an industry where it's all about the facade, and if you let your
Pretending like you have it all
guards
together.
down, right, and you show those weaknesses, then next thing you know, they're taking advantage of it. So.
Can you give us like another maybe female or male comedian who's been instrumental in kind of directing you, maybe even if you didn't meet them in person, but like, you know what, I want that career, like career goals right there?
Well, she's no longer with it, but Lucille Ball, I've always looked up to her because she was
my mom loves
she slayed.
Lucille.
Okay, yeah,
She's
I
great.
mean, they came to her many years ago, whatever, when she was doing her radio talk show, and they offered her a TV show, and then she said, okay, but I want my husband to be the lead with me, and they said, nope, we're not ready for a Cuban on television yet, and she was like, all right, see ya, and she took the show on the road. CBS came to her, offered her the deal. She's like, all right, you taking my husband out? And then she put him on national television. He was singing Babalu to an African deity on national TV, like in the 50s.
Can we talk about that? Like,
Okay.
We'll talk about, they had no idea what was going on. I really love that.
She made career goals and relationship goals.
Yes,
She was like,
that's
and
what
you're going to take my
And then the
husband.
baby was on the show.
Yeah.
Right?
And little
I'm
Ricky
telling
got
you,
Everybody was giving
I have
head.
modeled
The
my
whole family.
life after her, seriously.
That's a great example.
The whole family got paid.
Yeah, and then she opened a studio, her own studio. Paramount, that used to be her studio over there.
Oh,
She
wow. I did
produced
not know this.
Star Trek.
Wait, what?
That was her show. Like
Lucille
she
Ball
produced
was
yes.
Star
What?
She
She
was
did.
really like gold.
We have her to thank
Yes.
for all these Trekkies out there living in the world. Like,
Right.
We have her to thank
crazy.
for that. We have her to thank for that.
Wow, I did not
Thanks,
know that.
Lucy.
Okay,
Live long.
female empowerment.
Yeah,
And prosper.
That's awesome. Okay, so so that would ultimately be like your goal right there.
Yes, to produce content.
Are you
that
trying to put your
makes
husband
people
on your
laugh.
show too?
No, he's in the background. He doesn't like that kind of thing. But certainly in my business, my partner. That's my goal. Well, that's what we're doing now. We want to do it more.
It takes a whole lot of man though to actually like believe in you and in this crazy industry, because it's easy to get behind a woman who's like, I want to be a doctor and I'm going to medical school.
Right.
It's ridiculously hard to get behind a woman who says, so I want to maybe start my own business from scratch, or I want to have my own TV show, or I want to start my own clothing line. Like starting from scratch,
Yeah.
not working for someone else. Like it takes a whole lot of, like just faith and belief in that person.
It does, and especially if you're a performer too, because they have to share you with other people. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean like in a
That's some
right.
serious security.
No, but it's
yeah,
real.
yeah, because
Look
you're
at what we
getting
talk
on
about.
stage.
How secure all three of our husbands have to be. We're talking about relationships, dating, sex, female empowerment. Like it's all over.
Yeah.
Or when people come up to you, especially men, or hit you up on like Instagram. Oh, you're
Slide
fine,
those
whatever.
right.
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 Oh wait,
What's
I
up
do
with the
need to shout
DM?
somebody out though, because
Oh my God.
I really just need to show some appreciation. I really appreciate when you guys slide through my DMs and just tell me like you're proud of me and you love me, because sometimes I forget that I'm loved. I mean, my husband will tell me, but I still like attention from other men as well. So
He laughed at that, mind
No,
you.
listen.
He laughed at that just now.
Comic Williams, literally, I get a DM from him every day, no matter what I post, no matter what I tweet. That's like, I love you, Spicy. Like, as soon as your man messes up, and I know my man isn't gonna mess up, and I'm not ever gonna leave him. I mean,
His
he might
eyebrow
mess up,
and his
but I'm
muscle.
still
He's
loyal.
pointing to his muscle right now. I just want you guys. I'm doing a play-by-play.
But I appreciate, I appreciate the like. It's like every day I get like an extra little stroke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even if it's just a little heart,
Yeah.
that's
nice.
not
It's
cheating.
nice. It feels good.
Nice.
It feels good.
Even when you're walking down
Feels
the
good.
street and a man's like, "Oh, dang, mama," and you're like, "Yeah, thanks for reminding me." Because when you're married, you forget.
Can we
right?
talk? Can we talk about how everyone's trying to get rid of cat calls, and I live on cat calls?
I don't mind.
Cat calls is like it's like food.
That's how
It's
you know you
mail.
still got it.
I need cat calls. They make me feel very sexy and young.
Don't
Please
stop
don't
the
get
cat
rid of
calls.
cat calls.
That's one of my favorite things
I
about
don't-
New York. The New York
I don't
men
mind it at
know
all.
how to cat call.
I
Yo,
cat call
mama.
back. As soon as you cat call me, I'm like,
Yeah,
and I wait.
me too.
I give you the attention that you're asking
Thank
for.
you.
Right, I'll
That's
smile
This
or
homeless
wink.
guy,
Hey, puppy.
I was driving home and this homeless guy walked across and was super homeless, just being very
Wait,
homeless.
what's
And he,
super homeless as opposed to
like
just
you know,
homeless?
he was like
homeless?
walking kind of, he was all over the place. He was awesome, and he like looks in my car and he's like, and I was like.
right here.
I grabbed
Right
that
here.
kiss and I just put it in my heart. And like I love he wasn't sinister. He didn't have any bad intentions. He just kept walking on his way, kept being his old sweet nice self, and it made my day. And I know there's a lot of women who don't like it.
Yeah.
But
So why?
personally, it
what
doesn't
is
bother
that
me.
coming from? Why is there a lot of women who can't handle the compliments or who don't take it kindly or don't allow it to flatter them? Why are they repulsed by it?
I have no idea because it's never bothered me.
Because they feel, there's a lot of women who do feel degraded about it.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I've been sexually assaulted. It's not like I've lived some perfect life where no one's ever harassed me and I've never had a trauma. I've had a few legit sexual traumas. And I'm not at all, it's different when a man is menacing. Like, the difference between a menacing man that is following you and being creepy as opposed to a homeless guy that's being sweet and adorable who's like giving you all the crazy love in the world.
Right.
I don't honestly, I can't even explain it because it's so foreign to me to be offended by that kind of stuff.
I'm not offended, but
every time.
In Cuba, I went to Cuba, and the men there, they catcall just with so much suavecito. It's like, oye, nena, ¿cómo está? Ven pa' acá, coño. And you're just like, I want to live in Cuba. Don't mind it.
It's good here. So is it like a cultural thing here then? That we're just
like, it is.
We don't like the man that's as aggressive or the man that, is not communicating the way you want to be communicated to. I think, maybe we want it to be so formal that we forget the flirtationness of it. But, what comes to mind is always when you're walking down the street and it's like 5 construction workers that are like,
that's what I'm imagining
and like that's what I think of.
One's eating a sandwich from that little curved lunch pail.
I can't believe he just blew a kiss at me. But if you liked him, you would appreciate the kiss. It's because we don't want you.
Exactly. And so, I think that maybe a piece of it is kind of like, well, who do you think you are? Maybe it's kind of like a, and then for some people, maybe they just do feel unsafe. And maybe there's some people who just naturally feel more unsafe in the world. I'm a person that I don't feel unsafe. Like, I feel like if something were to happen, I could find a way to get my way out of it. Or you're going to find my cold, dead body filled with, like, his DNA under my nails and like his testicle in my pocket.
Because there are some women who feel unsafe.
Yeah.
What are you telling yourself something? Are you meditating in the morning? How do you feel so safe?
I think it is just part of maybe my character. I mean, I fought martial arts for a long time. And so I actually am a good fighter. So I think that might be a part of it.
Dr. Allie thinks she can open a can of whoop ass. Maria, you feel safe too, though, because
I think that's part of what it's about, right? Like, I grew up in Detroit, Southwest Detroit, which is a really tough, right? It's a tough neighborhood. I had to think about what colors I wore down the street on certain days. I was jumped by 5 girls one time. So I know when I'm walking down the street, I look behind me at night. So I think I just have a thick skin, So if a guy compliments me or tells me I'm beautiful or blows a kiss at me, as long as it's, hey mama, I like that big booty. It's like, what? I grew up with guys like that. I grew up with men talking to me in that way. But it was, and if they ever overstepped the line, like one guy, I remember, smacked me on my behind. I was like, oh no, brother, no, that's where you stop. So we have to know our boundaries. We have to know how to speak up for ourselves. I'm the kind of woman that will speak up for myself.
I think if you're uncomfortable with that. Exactly. I've smacked somebody's ass back when they smacked my ass.
Right, that's how you handle it.
Oh,
yeah.
I got you too.
How do you enjoy that?
Yeah.
You like that? Yeah, and I think that maybe that's the difference is that, like, we seem to not have a problem asserting our boundaries in very explicit terms. Like, I have no problem if a guy was trying to hook up and I wasn't wanting to do that, I would have no problem being like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Please leave my fucking house. Like, I would have no problem ever saying that if I really felt it, and then it would definitely be now you're going to have to violently rape me. Because you're not going to passively and sweetly coerce me into this. Like, we're going to fight.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't think you're up for that.
I'm ready for a fight at any time. Yes.
I don't think you're up for that tonight. So you're going to have to go home.
But not everybody has that strength, that strong backbone. Not everybody was, maybe raised even by a strong woman. Some people may have been raised by more a timid parent or been exposed to some hardships that have scared them or, violated them. Yeah. So now they're like walking in fear. I would suggest that they, try to get therapy or try to get help because that fear and that aggression that eventually unleashes on someone else, on the wrong person.
I also think that people that are predators, because it's established there are predators out there. The guy who's blowing a kiss at you might be a predator, he might not be, but there are predators out there. And one thing that I do know from working, I've worked with a few sociopaths, I've worked with some people who have been predators to other people, and one thing that I know about them is that they're very good at reading people's body language. and they read fear.
They can tell when you're
That's so
uncomfortable.
scary.
They read fear, and they know, and that's why a lot of times when people have been assaulted, they tend to get assaulted again and again and again, because if there's a pattern, there's a part of a pattern, and it's not victim blaming. I know a lot of people are like, well, are you blaming victims? Oh, these are just stats. When
Right.
people have been assaulted, they tend to be assaulted again, and there's some research that does look into, is there like a personality trait, of is it that people are more passive or they're more fearful? But I think a part of it is that predators are looking for people they can hurt and harm. And so in a way, even if you are feeling worried and scared, you gotta fake it. Fake brave, fake strong. You gotta fake it till you make it. Because I think that's what, like, I didn't grow up in a bad neighborhood. I grew up in a very safe, very, like, a neighborhood filled with very frightened, old, rich white people. And
That can be scary too.
it can be very scary.
Yeah.
Like,
Hello, Trayvon.
Like,
Not to get all
literally.
serious, but you know,
literally,
yeah.
like, and so I grew up in a very safe place. And so when I moved to Hollywood Boulevard for 2 years, living in a studio by myself, in my early 20s, you know, I did some dumb things. I let people into my apartment, just open the door, random guys I didn't know.
Like, come on in.
A SpongeBob character, a man dressed in full SpongeBob regalia, put his arm around me and walked with me for like 5 blocks, and I didn't know what to say or what to do.
I mean, he was in SpongeBob.
He could have murdered me and gotten away with it because no one saw his face.
The SpongeBob guy killed her.
But you know, I had to learn. I had to learn to have a thick skin. I started carrying a taser that was the same size as my cell phone. So I put it behind my cell phone, and I was like, if anyone is within 3 feet of my body, I am tasing them. And I will dare any jury to, like,
That's
put
how
me
you
in
have
jail
to be.
for
Yeah.
protecting myself.
Yeah.
Like, my
And
cousin would
apparently
always say
it's
that.
illegal for you to bring a taser to school.
Yeah, you can't bring those things
Oh,
around.
how is
I
my
carry
child going to
pepper
protect
spray.
themselves? Because
Yeah, shit is real.
earlier,
Yeah,
shit is
what we
real.
didn't mention in, like, the spicy dish, because it's not spicy, it's unfortunate,
horrible.
was the murder that just happened. The
School shooting.
The school shooting. This
12-year-old girl.
It was a
Kids are
girl.
good.
That's not empowerment.
Yeah, what was going-
Her
like,
murdering people.
No.
They don't know why
But-
yet.
But we don't know. It could have been a situation where she'd been violated at school. It could have been something where she was unleashing her wrath on people who had been unleashing theirs on her. And so, you know, we don't know the exact cause. But when you push a woman so far, you know, we will lose it. We will lose control.
We are emotional creatures.
Exactly. And her doing that was
It's just
a...
unfortunate.
Yeah, who knows
It's
what
scary.
happened?
It's like, you know,
we
we
don't
have,
know the reason.
we send our kids to school to get knowledge that will help prepare them for the future. And let's establish that California schools are like the worst in the country. But we send our kids to school so that we can, like, make sure that they're like they preparing themselves. And then we have to now worry. You know, there's been 14 school shootings since January 1st. That is 32 days. There have been 14 shootings. That's almost a shooting every other day at a school in the United States of America. There is nothing okay about that. I don't care what you guys want to do, whether it's give more guns to people or less guns. We got to fix it. I don't care how it's going to be fixed. I'm not getting on either side of this political debate. But we need to do something.
Yeah.
There's no reason our babies, like, these are our babies, like, are going to school. A 12-year-old has to worry about getting shot at school.
Yeah.
Something's going on internally, though. It's a self-esteem thing,
There
though.
is, yeah, and bullying is a big problem within the schools. I think that's one of the main reasons why these kids lash out, and then they're not getting counseling. The bullies are not getting counseling, and nor are the kids that are at the effect of it.
And
so
your
I think
parents
they
aren't
really
talking
got to
to
handle
you.
that.
Parents don't. I don't think parents are talking to their children openly as they should be. You may be a parent that's, like, talking to your kid about school, that's talking to them about you know, what they want to be when they grow up. But are you talking to your child about her sexuality, his sexuality? Are you talking to them about, you know, when you're not liked, how that affects you, but how you repel that negative energy? Are you talking to them about their self-esteem? And, like these are important conversations that you have to have. It can't just be, like, glazed over, because at some point there's going to be a bigger influence than your voice. And I'm talking to you parents. And that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to make sure that everybody is educated in all facets so that they don't lose their minds, you know, when they can't take it anymore.
And a lot of studies are also showing that the best way to, like, deal with bullying is to empower children that aren't being bullied to stop it. It's the bystanders that are the ones can change that can really change things, because the kid that's being bullied, people don't listen to the bullied kid. They feel like they're whining. It's like it's very similar in society. When
Stand
you're a
up for
member,
yourself.
when you're a member of a minority, a small minority that's being taken advantage of, and you speak up for yourself, you're seen as whining. You're seen as weak, and so it's not always as helpful. And so people who are being bullied really ask to not be bullied, and it doesn't work. But the kids that are around just watching, those are the ones that need to be like, stop. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why are you being mean to this really nice, cool, great, beautiful person?
Yes, stand up for each other.
Instead of taping the bullying incident.
Like, oh, let me get this on
that
my
person
cell
in the
phone.
head.
Like,
Yeah.
stand up for this person, and then that's how we help, you know, people to feel more empowered for the future. So now that they're not like trying to shoot up their school because they're so devastated. So
Certainly. Yeah. I remember when my niece, who's 18 now, and she was bullied by a boy who was beating her up, and
my
my
God.
sister, beat her up.
Oh my God.
Who knows what was going on with him? But my sister put her into karate class, and she came back and she karate chopped his little butt. And he was done. She kicked him
That's
and
what he
then got
did.
on top of him and beat him up, and that's what needed to happen.
There we go.
Sometimes that needs to happen too.
Sometimes
Like you have to be able to
conversation
defend
isn't
yourself.
enough. You have to open it can of ass.
I mean,
Is that how you got into comedy though? Because a lot of kids who were bullied when they were younger always defended themselves with jokes. Were you picked on when you were little?
Sometimes some of the girls were like, "Oh, who do you think you are?" And you know,
you're cute.
these the girls who jumped me actually tried to cut my hair off. They had scissors.
What the heck? That's so
Right? Yeah, it was rough sometimes because I don't know. It was just how it went in my neighborhood. What can I say?
yeah.
Yeah, and I was a writer, so I was always kind of to myself, and yeah.
Okay, so really quick, we have to reply to a letter that we received from Greg. All right, we have to band together, ladies, and help Greg out. Okay. I just recently broke up with my girlfriend. We've been involved with each other over 3 years. We're both above 40, and they're young adults too. They really look up and admire me. I also care and want the best for them as well. I let my actions speak for me. Lately, the mom and I aren't on the same page for growth, spiritually, financially, teamwork. I'm a strong believer in this. I just recently asked the mom to move on with her life, and she explained that the situation, you know, to her daughters, but I really care about them. So he's asking, you know, what should he do so that this woman can have peace, but that also he can move on with his life and don't hurt the children at the same time.
That's a hard one.
If you really want to help her, find her another man that can replace you, because clearly, no, I'm
The
joking.
best way to get over one man is to get under another.
Just joking.
Replace him.
Okay,
No.
Greg, hook your
hard.
ex up with somebody else. That's how you help her out.
Maybe, or go into some family therapy so that you can make a good adjustment, because co-parenting can be very effective. It can really work well, but the two of you have to be very mature, and you have to be able to get along with one another no matter what decisions you make in your future. So it's really about the kids. Focus on them, and you guys move on, do what you want to do, but focus on the kids.
Yeah, the children are the most important aspect.
They didn't ask to be here.
Yeah, let her go, but still make them feel loved.
Yeah.
Okay, so we always wrap up the show with our naked truth. So Maria, you have to answer 3 very spicy questions, very honestly, okay? If you have to choose, you know, it's the end of the world, you got to choose. Eat, sleep, comedy, or sex. The last thing you get to do on earth.
Comedy. She threw comedy in there.
Comedy. Probably sex.
Sex over comedy? Look, shout out
It's the last
Shout out to
time
your hubby,
in the
look.
world with my puppy. Yes.
It would be with him,
You
right?
said honestly. Yeah. Of course.
Just double checking. Okay,
It is the end of the
There's
world.
connection. Human connection.
celebrity
yeah.
crush that you would want to crush. Like if you could, hubby doesn't have to know about it. Like you just one night,
She keeps walking people into this.
You know?
Danger.
the one crush that you would take down if you could. Celebrity crush.
Oh dang.
And it can't be your husband. It has to be somebody else that you would smash.
Probably Benicio del Toro.
Big up. That's a good one right there.
I can never work with him now. My husband will be in the background like.
You'll be watching the whole time.
Right. It's gonna be in your contract. And not have any love
alone.
scenes.
Benicio.
That's a good one. Oh yeah, he's so.
He's like rough, sexy.
Yes.
I like men like
no,
that.
he
yeah.
is macho.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you had to body swap with your husband for the day, with the hubby, you got a body swap. Would you body swap with him? He has to be you for the day. Your spirit has to go in him, and his spirit has to come in you. Just one day in his shoes.
I would love that because I would love to know what it's like to be a man and walk through life as a man. You know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally.
Okay.
I would pee on everything.
So we're gonna pop quiz this. We're gonna pop quiz this response. Would your husband do the same? Do you think that he would walk in your shoes for one day? He has to be a woman, period, everything. Would he say yes or no?
I don't think he'd want to, no.
Hubby, would you walk in her shoes for one day? No. Okay,
No.
she was right. Hubby says no. He's more of like the introvert. Maria's more the extrovert. So he just like shook his head like. Okay, Maria. So I want everybody to like check your show out. I want them to download all your stuff on Amazon and go to all your shows, your concerts, everything. Where can they find you?
Yes, well, they can go to mariacosta.com, MariaCosta, and be sure to come to the Wilshire Ebell Theater on March 19th. Because that is where I'm filming my new comedy special. Woo! And Toby Love is going to be joining us. He's bringing all his dancers too. What? And let me tell you, ladies, there's a lot of eye candy going on there, right? Dominican,
we're
Puerto
for the
Ricans.
night.
Okay, look, the Australians got the Thunder Down Under. We got the Platano Review.
Hey.
Yep. More man, just less documentation. No, I'm kidding. Toby's totally. He was born in the Bronx.
Okay, Dr. Ali, where can they find you?
AllisonHicks.com. Allison Hicks on IG. ALLYCIN Hicks.
And you guys can always play with my Twitter or stroke my Instagram at SpicyMari. But check us out at thespicylife.com as well.
The Spicy Life.